Welcome to this beginner's yoga class. I'm Desi, and this class is for anyone who's new to yoga or just wants a back to basics flow. You don't need any prior experience of yoga today, and I'll explain everything as we go. So in yoga, we often start in this seated cross-legged position, also known as Sukhasana or easy pose. Of course, it's not so easy for a lot of us, so if this one's hard for you, it can help to sit on a cushion to elevate your hips, or you can just sit on your heels as so. Then once you're comfortable, we'll just take a few moments to center into ourselves, becoming aware of our body on the mat and celebrating ourselves for taking this time for us. Notice your inhale, notice your exhale. Notice where your body makes contact with your mat. And from here we begin with a simple side stretch. You can place your left hand on the floor beside you and take your right arm overhead, stretching through the right side of your body. Inhale and exhale for a moment. Then return to center and we'll repeat on the other side, placing your right hand on the floor, left arm stretches overhead, past your ears. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then come back to middle. We'll take one more time for each side. Over towards your left first. Maybe this time becoming more aware of the stretch on the right side of your body. Feeling that pull. And then come back to the middle and take it over towards the other side. And then come back to the middle. Last thing as we sit, just take your arms behind you, press your fingertips into the mat, into the floor, and shine your chest forward. Soft opening in the upper torso, a stretch for your shoulders. You can keep your gaze forward, or if it's okay with your neck, you can gently look up. And then come back to the middle. We're nice and open, and we'll move into low lunge. So we'll begin with your right foot forward, left leg behind. Another quick invitation to use anything in your house to make these poses more comfortable for you. So if this is hard on your knee, a cushion or a blanket underneath might help. You basically want your front knee to be over your heel and your back knee to be underneath your hips. And now extend your arms up, palms can face each other, eyes looking forward. And now open your arms into a cactus shape. So by bending your elbows at 90 degrees, your palms are forward now. I really want to help you open through your chest and upper back today. But at the same time in this pose, we're warming up through your legs and we're stretching through the hip flexors. Just stay here for a couple of breaths. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Relax any tension in the face, maybe around the eyes. And then reach your arms back up. And then just let them find the floor around your front foot. And then shift your weight back into half splits. So we'll flow between the two. Take yourself forward into that low lunge, but hands are on the floor. And then back into half splits. Take yourself forward. And flow back. 2 more times, going forward. Flowing back. And then one final time, going forward. Flowing back, and we'll just pause here for a couple of moments. You can have your knee bent if you need. Your leg doesn't need to be straight. And then come forward again. Before we do the other side, we'll take a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So your palms will be underneath your shoulders. Your knees will be underneath your hips. This is sometimes called our tabletop position. And then from here, we'll move through the spine. So the next time you inhale, begin to drop your belly. Tailbone goes up, chest lifts, and then as you exhale, go in the other way, so tucking through, maybe engaging your abs slightly, maybe chin comes towards your chest. And then inhale to open up again. Exhale back in. 2 more times, inhaling to open up. Exhaling back in. If this is too slow for your breaths, you can speed up your breathing if you need. Opening up on an inhale. Exhaling as you move back in, and then come back to the middle and just find that low lunge on the other side. Left foot is forward. And take your time to adjust again if you need anything for your knee, anything at all. Front knee above your front foot, back, hips above knee. And when you're ready, arms lift up, palms towards each other, gaze is forward. Feel that length from the tips of your middle fingers down through your spine, all the way down through your back knee into the mat. And then open into that cactus shape again, so elbows at 90 degrees, palms forward. One more breath. And then lift your arms back up and then let them frame your front foot and shift your weight back into half splits. You already know what's coming up. You're going to take yourself forward into that low lunge. And then come back for half splits. Take yourself forward into that low lunge. Back into half splits. 2 more times, going forward. Stretching back, stretching into your hip flexor. Going forward. Stretching back and then stay here this time. And then you can go forward again and we'll find that all fours position. Let yourself take maybe 2 rounds of cat and cow, opening through your chest, tucking through, and then just one more time. If you need to, you can just shift your hips forward and back. Just let your body intuitively guide you with what kind of stretch movement you need right now. And then just come to a still point and walk your hands to the top of the mat and lower your forehead. This is called our puppy pose, and it's another great pose for our upper back. And in this one, just spread your fingers, press them into the mat, and take your attention to your upper back. Feel the stretch, feel the opening. If parts of this are uncomfortable, just stay with it. Trust that the pose is doing what it needs to. Amazing. And then take yourself back to that all fours position. And you're going to extend your right leg back, extend your left leg back, finding plank, holding plank for a breath, and then press into your palms to take yourself into downward facing dog. I know this one can be a bit of a hard one if you're new to yoga, so I really want you to feel that you can bend your knees as much as you need. Your heels don't need to touch the floor. And we're going to do what's called walking our dog, so lowering one heel to the floor, and then lifting it and then lowering the other, and lifting it, and just alternate for a few more times. We're kind of testing out our bodies, seeing how it feels. You can again take that shift of the hips left and right. Just doing what intuitively feels good here. And now find a still down dog and walk your hands to meet your feet at the back of the mat so that you're in a forward fold position. In this one again, knees can be as bent as is comfortable as you need them to be. And you can either let your hands dangle, letting them feel free and heavy, or you can take opposite hand to opposite elbow and maybe you sway left and right. This is a stretch for the backs of our legs, but also really great for our hips. So take your attention to your low back and your hips and really feel yourself creating some space and opening as you kind of relax into this pose. This should feel fairly relaxing. And press into your feet to let yourself come into standing, maybe reaching the arms up. And then we'll go into what's called our goddess pose. So you might need to be facing the long edge of your mat, but if the short edge of the mat works for you, then you can stay as you are. We're going to widen our legs a bit wider than hips distance and open our feet kind of in that 45-degree angle. And we need to then take your arms into that cactus shape again. And keeping your arms as they are, sink down as if you're going into a squat, but maybe not as deeply. And as you come up, straighten the arms overhead. And again, going down into your goddess. And then straighten the arms as you go up. Continue with this a few more times, as I want to give a few pointers to make this really work for you. So you absolutely don't have to go deeply into this. You can maybe just go down a couple of inches. And the way that this goddess pose varies from what would be a traditional squat, if you're used to doing that, is we're trying to keep our back straight. So we're not leaning forward, but we're keeping our back straight and in line with our hips. And we also really want to keep our knees open. And so those are kind of the key points in goddess. Take maybe one more time in this, and when you sink down into goddess the next time, take your hands into your chest, prayer position. Take an inhale, take an exhale, and then slowly lift yourself up, release your hands. And you can just give your legs a shake out. I know this one can be hard when we're keeping it for a while. And then make your way to the top of your mat, facing the short edge. And from here, step your left leg back, coming into our high lunge. Similar to low lunge, but obviously we've got knees off the floor this time. You can take your arms up again, palms facing each other, gazes forward. Pressing into the floor with your front foot, pressing into the floor with your back toes and the balls of your foot. And then slowly release your hands, take your weight into your front leg as you step the back foot to meet the front. Or maybe you don't step, you might need a couple of walks up there. Give your legs a shake out if you need, and then we'll switch to the other side. So right foot goes back, left leg is at the front, and then arms can reach up, palms facing forward, and gaze forward. It's quite useful to find what is called a drishti point, so a focus point in front of you. And it's just one point that you look at maybe on a wall, or maybe the floor is more comfortable to you. And it really helps you to keep your mind centered and to help keep your balance. And we'll stay here for a few breaths again, trusting your legs to hold you up, trusting that you have the strength and the concentration for this. And then you can relax your hands, take your weight forward and make your way to the top of your mat. Give your legs a shake out. And now we'll find a forward fold again. Slowly roll yourself down, arms reach the floor. And bend your knees generously so that your palms can find the floor, and step or walk yourself back into plank. Engage the abs for a moment as you do this. Press your palms into the mat. And then you can just let your knees find the floor and take yourself back into child's pose. So this is going to be our rest pose for a couple of seconds. Your knees can be wide, or if it's more comfortable, you can keep them together. And if this actually isn't a resting pose for you, then you can just have a seat for a couple of breaths, maybe grab some water, or maybe just lay on your back. We're going to have about 20 seconds or so here. Allow your breath to become slower. And after your next exhale, you can slowly lift yourself up so that you end up seated on your heels. And now we'll go into our last few stretches before we come onto our back. So take your right foot forward, but this time take it to the edge of the mat so that both of your hands are on the inside of that leg. If this is too deep for you, again, something around your house to elevate the floor to come to you can really help. So maybe some books, whatever you have. Obviously in a yoga studio you would maybe use some blocks, but at home we use whatever we have. From here, take your right hand to your right knee and just gaze over your shoulder, looking back. And then come to center, take your foot behind you and we'll go straight to the other side. Take your left foot forward to the edge of the mat on the outside of your hands. Take a moment to readjust, grab anything if you need the floor to come closer to you. And now left hand finds left knee, turn so that your head gazes past your shoulders. And then return to the middle, find that all fours position. Walk your hands to the top of the mat, finding our puppy pose again. Maybe explore if there's more space now. Spreading your fingers, pressing into the mat. And you can lower your elbows as you lower your hips, shifting yourself into what's called our Sphinx pose. This one's great for stretching through the abs and the hip flexors. Your gaze can be forward or to the top of the mat. If your breath is beginning to slow down, then that is great, but if it still needs a few more moments to get to that slower state, then use this pose to try and slow down the mind, try and slow down the breath. And now you can relax so that your chest finds the floor. Take your hands to find each other at the top of the mat and rest your forehead on your hands. This is our crocodile pose. You can either stay still or you can give a little shake through your hips. And then you can bend at your knees and gently take your feet left and right. They're not looking for the floor, they're just going a couple of inches to the left, a couple of inches to the right. Windshield wipering. And then you can straighten through your legs and slowly take yourself to lay onto your back. Bend through your knees here, let your feet find the floor, knees pointing up, both knees towards your chest. With each exhale, feel that little bit heavier, that little bit more relaxed through the sides of your body. And now extend both legs, arms by the sides of your body. Palms can be up or down. This is our Savasana pose, and this is how most classes finish. A few moments of relaxation. This pose can be a bit hard on the low back, so if you're experiencing any pain in your low back, you can come to that bent knee position again, and maybe you just widen your feet to the edges of the mat and you let your knees fall across each other, fall against each other. You can close down the eyes if you wish. And take your attention to the center of your chest as you inhale and you exhale. And just stay here for a few moments. I know it can be tempting to skip this part, but this is how we just let the body have a few moments of rest before we continue with our day, and it helps to take in all of the effects of the practice, both the mind and the body. You can begin to wiggle through your fingers and your toes, maybe turning the head left and right. And then hug your knees to your chest, and either you rock back and forth to come into a seat, or you take your body to lay over on your side and then press yourself up. So we begin crossed legs as we started. Place your left palm over the center of your chest, your right palm over it. take this moment for some gratitude for yourself, for your body, for taking this time to take care of your well-being. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to see you on the mat soon, and have a great day.